still have it being seen as the media gives us updates that there are improvements. Other nations of the world that are also in this record are equally working. But the best thing is that we must ensure that it is a fight to finish. Ranking are just for us to see the state where we are, the position, our efforts. But we can do more. And that more that we can do is what everybody is looking out for. How do we do it? What is the way out? How better can we achieve this goal? If you hear people calling on the government that please do more, it's because we want safety of lives and property. It's because we want people to sleep with their eyes closed and have comfort at every place that they find themselves. But this ranking is a call to more facts.
Okay, now let me come back to Mr. Adegbero. Would you really say that we are doing enough? When you're looking at the fact that, okay, at a particular time, they said Boko Haram has been technically defeated, maybe it's mechanically defeated now, or whichever one. Would you really, given the parameters and given, you know, the efforts that you see, can you really say that we're doing enough? And if not, what are the areas that you think we should be focusing on?
Is Nigeria doing enough? There's room for improvement, but they're actually trying, especially these new sets of chiefs. You can see they're trying to terrorists or bandits or whatever you want to call them. But as they say in the world, if you look at terrorists, when it comes to terrorists, another country is making money. So obviously, I'm not one of those that think the international committee gets it right, because at the end of the day, the more of attack, the more they sell things to whichever country that it is. And the government of Nigeria of today, if you look at our expenditure, how much have we spent on security? It runs into trillions, you know. And honestly believing, yes, a lot of things that is being overshadowed, which is, it comes to terms of greed and doing the right thing. The president has given the mandate, and he has given him, there's nothing concerning security, about security, that the president has not given to the country. Now, he has given it to the country. What are the service chiefs doing? What are the ministers or the security agencies, what are they doing? But you know, a lot of things is still, I think, over-bloated. You know, for instance, I said once in an interview, if you want to go to war or you want to fight terrorists, number one, you don't advertise what you have, like other countries. You know, we have to change our purchasing way of buying security items. Because if your enemy knows what you have, because we buy, everybody knows, and we now celebrate by putting it on national TV. So whoever wants to attack Nigeria knows already what you have, and is more prepared than you. It's like someone giving you an exam paper and the answer at the same time. When you now see the paper, won't you pass? Of course you will pass. But generally, I think it's overbloated. Generally, yes, we need to encourage them, because at the end of the day, we Nigerians, yes, it is for the pure security of Nigeria that we are in today. And I would also put the fact that it's not only based on security. What is behind the security? We are seeing these people. Take, for instance, I'll just like, you know that every single gun or bullet has a number, a code number, which you can enter into the internet. Which manufacturer made this ammunition, or the bullets, or the grenade launchers? Who was the person that came to purchase it? But us, we look at it, we seize, they put a bonfire and burn this thing. So, it's a huge vacuum of answers that is not being asked. Nigeria is not a small country. We are not illiterate. We don't like trouble. Nobody wants to die. This is my country. I'm passionate to it. And I feel for the president because in the military, for the military and all the service chiefs, you get what I'm saying? But we need to first of all ask those answers. It's not jumping that, oh, we are number 2 in the world. That doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, you need to get to where it starts from. Right from the purchase and right from what is on the field. It is not rocket science. Everybody knows it. You get what I'm saying? And if you're interested in that, you know, certain questions, you get me? Because we are not getting is what that is put out of the social media, on the news, that people react to. Nobody has all these videos. Nobody has all the equipment that we have. Nobody knows it. It's only the Office of the National Security Advisor that can give us all these statistics and know. But for some reason or the other, it's what we see in the paper. So obviously you are going to say, what's it called? Yeah, it is. They say Boko Haram is in what's it called? Both have gone to check. I don't think any of the newsmen has gone to even go and cover the place, as our CNN does in their own country. If they're I'm afraid but his job too was this. I'm not going to sit down as a security expert and say, oh, this is this, or the true fact. It's unprofessional.
Okay.
For us,
we're still going to come back to you. Okay, Moses, I don't want to ask the question.
Okay, Mr. Adegbero, recently there have been calls for the dismissal or the resignation of the National Security Advisor, Babagana Mongunu, and the service chiefs. Well, I mean, is that the right call this time?
I didn't quite of that.
I said recently there have been calls for the dismissal of the National Security Advisor, Babagana Mongunu, and the service chiefs. Is that the right call?
Well, first and foremost, you see, it is what is put out there that people react onto. You know, until when I cannot say, is it correct or is not correct? When I do not know, they know. But as in concerned Nigerian, yes, Nigerian service chiefs, and they should go outside. But the real problem is that even if you remove them, you get what I'm saying. What are you bringing back to replace? Less than to come in, and it is critical. Is either the president has a meeting with them and school them or do what he needs to do, which I believe he's doing. You get what I'm saying? But for any changes as we speak right now can take, before they will come in, look at the whole architecture. I think it should be unwise to start changing people at this particular point in time.
Okay, now let me come to Mr. Lawale here, and we'll be looking at the fact that, okay, whether it should change, he's been talking about that. But one thing I also pick from what he said here is that, is our intelligence, are we working on is our intelligence gathering, is it strong enough? He was talking about the fact that when you see bullets, it's numbered and all of that. Are we proactive? Is our intelligence gathering strong enough to be able to counter, some people say it's fluid, that you can't predict where it's going to happen. But do we even have very strong, can we say we have very strong intelligence gathering?
Thank you very much. We do.
Is it strong?
Very strong. The only thing is that I feel we are shying away from the truth.
How?
Yeah. There is no country in the world now that wants to fight terrorism and will not know the right thing, the right way, the right approach.
Okay.
There are developments on a daily basis.
Okay.
There are news all over the place. Before they could strike, before they could do whatever they need to do, there will have been early warnings. The people at the end of affairs, in the security setting, they know what is about to happen.
Okay.
And God so good, Nigeria is so blessed, we have The Sat-1, Sat-2, the satellites are doing fine. They are wonderful. It's one of the best. But yet, we still have some of these hiccups. We have strong and good intelligent network in this country.
But why do we still now, does that gel, does that, coordinate? You have good intelligence network, and then you still have
lapses. Yes, that is why I said earlier on that it's just that we are being untruthful. Certain things are still happening in some quarters. Why? Because of maybe selfish ambitions and personal achievements, personal issues.
Okay,
that we make some of these things not work.
Let's come to Mr. Adegbero there. Do you agree with him that we don't have it? It's like there are other factors.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that perspective? And then do you feel that our intelligence gathering network here is strong enough, or is just that some people are? Would you say now that they are sabotaging the old system? Is that they are saboteurs within the system, or is it that there is inactivity or there is inability to do the right thing? Where do we now place it?
Are you there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, with my dear brother, I think he's trying to be a little bit cautious in what he's saying. I do agree with him, and I'll elaborate further on what he's saying. Nigerian government has, the paramilitary or military, have the best intelligence gathering equipment. Okay. If you look at it, you have each quarters having the same equipment, but they don't share information. They don't work together. You get what I'm saying? Okay. It's meant to be a central point, which is whereby all information should go to the National Security. But if police, army, civil defense, whichever security outfit, all DI formations, 101% they do. But as he said, for selfish ambition, and you get what I'm saying? There's a sabotage, especially against this government. And if you look at it, with the amount of money that we have spent on security, and we are not getting results, you look at in the media. Somebody is making money somewhere. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. If they say there's no terrorists, where would that money be going? It comes back to what my brother there is saying about sabotage.
Okay.
And it is very bad. Those are the people I'm going to go after. Because if you all have this equipment and you are not sharing information, obviously, if Army says so, and in Niger, but nobody comes together to put heads together and share information. Intelligence gathering must be united. You get what I'm saying? And if it's not united, you can never get the end result.
Okay. Mr. Adegbero, Nigeria budgeted 11.18 trillion naira for security from 2015, or between 2015 and 2022, according to investigations conducted by the Punch newspaper. And we still talk about terrorism, somewhat. Is that not a case of underperformance?
It's a case of underperformance, but it still comes down to selfish beliefs. Because if you spend that kind of amount and we're not getting results, come on, Mario, you should. But to the average Nigerian, they will still what they read or what they hear from the media or from the radio or social media. But the key thing is that this particular government has spent the most on security since democracy started. And this is the worst in terms of projection, that, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Yes, I have my own personal reservation about the chiefs, which I believe they did absolutely zero. They made money, and yet they were still compensated by going to give them career ambassador, which to me, as far as I'm concerned, it is absolutely not, it was not needed. There was nothing to reward them for. Instead, we were now rewarding them. What's the reward base? Because even the office of the NSA said, well, most of these things they said they bought, I'm sure it was written everywhere, that they didn't, these new services did not find anything. Because we keep, there's really no check and balance, to be honest, when it comes to the security agencies. Nobody goes to know how many things we bought. Is it being here? Is it not being? It's not integrated. Because if we have good source of people that are security agents, we would achieve more. But when it now comes to personal, you now personalize it in terms of trying to make money or in terms of trying to save your boss or whatever it is, that is another problem. That one, we can get into that. But the most important thing is that we have to be sincere to ourselves, because average Nigerians are selfish and we are corrupt and we do not like to say anything. You will say is another thing you do, which is sad, because a lot of us, even the media, you will see somebody that is doing something that is wrong, they will say excellency this or excellency that. You people will stand up and you clap for them, and you know that that is the thief. Now, is that problem? So how are we going to staff or the chief of this office? Will you even be able to come out of there or tell him to his face that what you are doing is wrong? No. Because there's no check and everybody's afraid and just sitting down and relying on the president and the media to do some magic. There's no magic about it. Who are the funders of these things? Who are the people bringing these things into Nigeria? Those are the key questions that people should be asking. Not saying that, yes, there's this, there. Obviously, if they tell you that there's an attack somewhere, do you think there will not be a budget allocated against all the other prisons? Do you honestly think so? So, to Kuje and go and film what exactly happened? No, they didn't. It's not by sitting down in your office and hearing what people are saying, they now project out of the media. So the media too is a big part of this thing. Is a big part of this thing that you must follow to what is going on in the country, not by hearsay, and now project outside. I'm sorry, that's my own opinion.
Okay, let's now come to Zalawale here, because it's now thrown a lot of things open, and you want to ask yourself, with the picture that he has painted, can we ever have an end to terrorism? Because now he's talking about the fact that there's no synergy, between the security. But then they will tell you that they are always working together. But it becomes more obvious when you look at the fact that I think a report said there were 44 signals that Kuje prison, was going to be attacked.
Exactly.
I mean,
before the incident
took place. So, are we not deceiving ourselves? Is there an end in sight?
That is why I said that it's us that would not be truthful. You made mention of sabotage. Fine, beautiful. That's it. If the security have synergy, and they are working together, a certain section gathering information, intelligence gathering, a certain section working on it, processing it, and some being proactive, trying to be on standby, ensuring, preventing, and all the likes. The work of safety is not limited to security agencies alone.
Very true.
How do I mean it? We have the communication there. Okay. The Nigerian Communication Body Commission is there, NCC. Okay. Now, we're talking about SIM cards. We're talking about registration. If it's not well registered, you're not going to make use of it. And yet, we found out that these are one of the major tools that these terrorists are using in attack.
Even kidnappers, they make calls. Is it that you can't trace?
Can't we trace? Can't we nip them in the bud? Can't we find something done such that you travel abroad, you find out that you cannot make use of a SIM without being duly registered? Because by it, they will tell on you.
Are you saying that their SIMs were registered without, are they using their SIM without
there is still a crack somewhere. That's what we're
Or is
saying.
it that, when somebody was giving one funny but I wouldn't, unauthentic, he would say, okay, look, you will see CCTV cameras in banks.
Yes.
But the day the thieves come to attack the bank,
it will not function.
you will not be able to see. I mean, the essence of the CCTV is to make sure that, okay, activities are recorded.
Now, you still find out that by the time you try to gather why it's not happening like that from NCC, NCC will give another reason. They say, well, our power system is not so good.
Okay.
In terms of, okay, if you are not relying on IBED or any of these power distribution companies, tell them to rely on their own personal, like diesel, generator, solar system. They will tell you that economically it is not viable. So everybody at one point in time or they have a reason for their shortcomings, for having these things coming up on board.
Well, okay, Mr. Adegbero, back to you. There seems to be good news. A few days ago, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the worst is over. Is that something to cheer about?
Cheer about what?
Is the worst really over?
Is the worst really over? The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has said that the worst is over.
Has he been to where the war is going? Or what projection does
is
he
the
have?
mouthpiece,
What
is the image maker?
The mouthpiece, has he gone to where these things are? We Nigerians, we make mockery of ourselves, and it's a big joke. And I get angry when I hear such situation or such things that, the war is over. How is the war over?
No, the worst. He said the worst, not the war. The worst is over.
The worst is over. How does he know what the worst is? It's still basically the same, whether the worst or it is over. As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria still has a lot of security gaps in it against terrorists, bandits, kidnapping. We see it every day. If the minister is being truthful, the best thing he can say is that we are working at it. That's the most appropriate language he should have used. Because a lot of people sit down in their office, they have their own security as ministers, have they used their security, bulletproof cars or whatever they ride in, to go and look at this scene? Did you see the Minister of Information going to Kuje prison and call cameraman and see what is going? No, that is pure rubbish. Our thinking has to change. Seriously has to change. And this selfishness and corruption inbuilt into Nigeria is the key factors of all these things. Yeah, he's trying to make himself look good in front of the public learning. It's all nonsense. I'm sorry. My own case, the worst is not over. We are coming towards elections. More things are going on. And please, Margo, before you ask such questions, do your own diligence. You know what the right answer is. As media, help Nigeria.
Well, I cannot discountenance. That statement coming from the federal government, because as it were, is the federal government saying the worst is over.
That's the mouthpiece of the federal government. You don't.
Who is the person?
We always want investment.
Who is the person that Mosiko gave him the statistics?
We must have been working with
we Nigerians have to stop.
public relations of security agencies to get that information. And in recent times, anyway, Mr. Adegbero, we've seen cases where terrorists have been neutralized, they've bombed, they've attacked the enclaves of these terrorists.
The Air Force.
The Air Force has been working day and night, so if the minister is saying the worst is over, we can't discountenance that. It's the federal government saying the worst is over.
You see, this is where I now do separation of power. You get what I'm saying? The worst, when you say the worst, last week wasn't there an attack?
There was.
Wasn't there an attack? There was attack. As day goes by, we wake up, we thank God that we're a very prayerful nation. You get what I'm saying? If you're looking at this bunch of people that are talking, really, Nigeria should not be Nigeria. You get what I'm saying? It hurts me that Nigeria that I saw growing up is not the Nigeria that I'm seeing now, and it's not the Nigeria that I want my children to be in. You get what I'm saying? Everybody will come out and say pure nonsense from their mouth and say that the worst is over. The worst is over how? How?
Well, Mr. Adigbe.
No, if you come to Lagos and you are talking about Lagos, go to where all these things is happening up north and let them get the true fact. Yes, the Air Force has been trying. Yes, the Army has been trying. Yes, the police have been trying. Yes, the civil defense has been trying. But Michael, for you to know, out of a population that is over 200 million, do you know what the total strength of the security outfitter is? 1.2 million naira. Sorry, 1.2 million people.
Personnel.
To mount, out of that 1.2 million, how many is being used by federal government and agencies and the so-called companies and the big men of Nigeria? So when you minus that, you now get the total people to go and be fighting this thing. Is it?
Well, anyway, that cannot be categorized as nonsense, Mr. Adigbe. Well, it's just for you and I to debate, talk about if the worst is really over.
I'm very upset because upbringing, for the love that I have for my country, as my slogan is, what's it called? I'm a Nigerian and my tribe comes second. If you look at it, you see, anywhere I am in the world, I wear it. And that is because I am passionate about this country. I looked at it that when General Buhari was coming, I voted for him because I looked at it that we need a vibrant
leader.
Because at the end of the day, it's only discipline that will get us far in this country. We know what is right and we know what is wrong. But we refuse because there's no fear that they can do anything and get away with it.
Okay, now the lights are on. In the course of our discussion, we might have to, in case we take any calls, we might have to stop the discussion to receive the call. We'll still come back to you, but now let me come to Mr. Olawale here and the fact that, okay, what you have now, the situation now, where the minister is saying the worst is over, Mr. Adegbero is believing that, the worst is not over.
It's not.
The question now is, what is the way forward? Where are we going? How, from your own perspective, what do you expect us to be doing now? What do you expect to see before you can believe that, okay, yeah, maximally we are doing well?
I want to believe that for us to say that we want to get over these issues, we must, there should be room for engagement.
How?
Yes, get the necessary people to dialogue.
Or you want to dialogue with Boko Haram, or you want us to dialogue? No, I'm trying to expand on this. What your thoughts are?
There must be a reason for their terrorism. There must be a reason for kidnapping. There must be a reason for one criminal act or the other. If you don't want to shy away from the truth. What is the real reason? What is the essence of all this? Then if you have people that can come up and say, look, we have the likes of Gumi there.
Okay.
He has been saying certain things. Look, meet with these people, let's do this, let's do that. If we give it a trial, let's see if it will work. If we don't, there is every tendency that the trend will continue.
Yeah, but some people would say you don't negotiate with terrorists because the moment you begin to negotiate with them, you are giving
others will come up on board. Yes, fine, that's true. But if we actually want to do the needful,
okay,
I'm sure.
Sorry, we have to. George is calling from Lagos. George, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's nice to join the panel discussion this morning.
All right.
I want to stand on the existing point of Mr. Adegbero. Nigerians, as of today, we should not be shy telling ourselves the truth. As of today, I am of sympathetic age. Time was, and I was told I'm the leader of tomorrow. That sequence or sequential follows up to today, and nothing good is coming. I came in from Abuja by the weekend. I want to make it bold and say the Honorable Minister should not shy from the coast. He cannot leave Abuja to Ilorin or Gombe without advance clearance. This is that what the government is doing today, we need to go in more to look at what is the original source, what brought in these terrorist people.
Okay.
Put Pakistan aside. A member of APC, I've suffered, I've lived a generation.
Okay, let's begin to. We want to thank you very much, Mr. George, because we want to take other callers. I'm sure the point has been made.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. Okay. There are needs that are not yet met, and that is why we have all these people coming up, each of this group coming up on board.
No, are you excusing terrorism now? So, what are the needs? What do we owe terrorists?
Well, nobody can say this is their particular need for now, because different groups have different reasons why they're attacking. So, for instance, this is physical assault.
Okay.
These are physical attacks, either by assault rifles or by explosions and all the likes.
Okay.
We have one that is presently going on. That's with the government and the ASU. Psychologically, it's a terror to the student, to the parent, and all the likes. They have a reason.
That's psychological terrorism.
Exactly, psychological terrorism. They have a reason for having all these curfews.
Okay.
Let's look at it in that direct. What is the reason, or why are these people coming up with this?
Okay.
Don't forget there are hidden actors.
Okay.
Some might be to sell.
Okay, Olajide calling from Alagbado. Good morning, Mr. Olujide, rather, I beg your pardon.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
This is why they call, even his grandson, call him Liar Mohammed. This is why they call him Liar Mohammed.
No,
you can't say that.
Please, just be mindful.
You're on national TV, Mr. Olujide, you can't say that. It's not allowed. It's not allowed on national TV, please. You can just respond, ask your questions, contribute. Do not, slander anyone. We do not allow derogatory remarks, please, Mr. Olujide. Well, maybe we can take one or two calls before we wrap up.
Let's go back to Mr. Adegbero there. Okay. Now, what is the way forward for us?
Well, it's a magic question. Prayers is key. Yes, prayers is very key. Because when you're asking that, what's the way forward? You know,
okay.
the government, as in the president has given what he can give. You get what I'm saying? But to be sincere, we just have to just say, we beg the service chiefs and we have to encourage the service chief personnel, even they have, so that they will work properly, not go into, they should be well equipped, obviously, and fight for diligence, because it's one thing for you, if you are not eating and they say you should go and work, can it work? No. So, it comes back to selfish interest, as my brother said. If they are well taken care of, and their family is well taken care of, they know that they can go out to fight and die for their country. So that motivation, I think, needs to be done so that we can all move forward. It's not about just selling guns or buying the vehicles and all these things.
It's not.
That go and fight these people. What are they fighting for? If they are not fighting for Nigeria, you get what I'm saying then. You've heard so many things on social media, not that I've been to any of the sites anyway myself, because it's all hearsay, that you see that they drop the soldiers at the place and they all remove their uniform and hide, because the people they are going to fight have better equipment, better things, more equipped than them. So, so you can't really, on paper, you look at it as when you look at the figures, it's mind-boggling that this is this. But the way forward, I think, is that we need to look inwards, not outward. You get what I'm saying? But age is not on our president's side, because the head of state, We knew of him, we knew of Tunde Idiagon and war against the discipline. You know, there were so many things like this, but now we're in democracy, a lot of things are a little bit different. And I believe that we need to actually encourage this, our men, personnel that are going onto the field to do it is for them. Today an army man dies, the next day removed his wife from the accommodation and they are left on the street. You know, so when other people are seeing this thing, likewise in the police, when people are seeing this thing, do you actually think when you drop them at what's it called, the war front, they have the zeal to actually go forward?
Okay.
From the air.
All right.
Well,
Moses, yeah.
Mr. Debero, is it not high time we change tactics? Because Nigeria has been fighting terrorism for close to about a decade now. Well, I guess in the studio, Mr. Olawale talked about negotiation at the other time. You know, Air Force has always been bombing their enclaves and all that. Now you are saying maybe we need more weapons. We bought Tucano jets. We're still talking about terrorism. Can we change tactics? Is that the right thing to do now?
But you know, as I'll go back to it, my brother has said it, selfish interest, or what's it called, you know, insight. Because all these things we have, it's not as if we don't have them. You get what I'm saying? And if we have them, why isn't it being used correctly? You get what I mean? You know, there's a lot of gaps that is still there. Yes, you're purchasing, as I said. If you want to buy a gun today, it will be advertised in the newspaper. Security equipment is meant to be strictly dealt different, as critical to what you have. Do you know what Japan has? Do you know what North Korea has? Do you know what the Metropolitan Police have, or the MI5? You know what they have? We don't. You don't hear all these things. We have to manage those information. But in Nigeria, we have to change our psyche of how we purchase this equipment. Because you are leaving a lot of gaps for people to know what you have. And as I've rightly said, if your enemy knows what you have, he's going to get something better than what you have. Isn't that correct? Yeah. So how do you now fight the enemy? It's impossible. So it is still in within. And all these things is down to selfishness and corruption. But that is the honest truth.
Okay. We want to thank you very much, Mr. Adegbero, for being part of this discussion this morning. And it's still open-ended. There are so many areas that are left unattended to. Honestly. And we can only hope that we were going to get it better. We want to thank all our discussants who have been part of this. Mr. Olusoya Olawale, we want to thank you very much for being part of this. Mr. Nuruddin Adegbero, we also want to thank you. We definitely didn't even go to the crack of the nation's foreign direct investment because it's obvious that, you know, when everything is off the track, it's going to fall back on investment. But then we keep hope alive. We keep believing that it's still going to be well with Nigeria, that we will win this war eventually. Thank you. After this time, I will bring on the next segment on New Dawn.